Does dictatorship of the proletariat lead to tyranny? Imagine a society where the workers take control and decide how things are run. That's what the idea of the dictatorship of the proletariat is all about. It's a key part of Marxist theory, which says that after overthrowing capitalism, the working class should hold power for a time. The goal is to get rid of private ownership of factories and land and move toward a society where everyone is equal. In theory, this phase isn't meant to last forever. It's supposed to be a temporary step to dismantle the old ruling class and build a new, classless society. Supporters say it's the rule of the majority, the workers, over a minority of former bosses and landowners. They believe that during this time, restrictions on political freedoms are necessary to stop counter-revolutionaries from undoing the progress. The idea is to protect the gains and keep the revolution moving forward. But history shows a different story. In countries like the Soviet Union, the dictatorship of the proletariat often turned into one-party rule. Political freedoms were limited, and sometimes people faced repression or persecution. Critics argue that when power is concentrated in a small group or a single party, it can easily slide into authoritarianism. This is where the concern about tyranny comes in. They worry that what starts as a move to empower the working class can end up giving too much power to a few leaders, who may suppress dissent and control society tightly. Some socialists say that these problems happen because of specific conditions or mistakes, not because the idea itself is flawed. They argue that if true democracy among workers was practiced, like direct control over workplaces and politics, these issues could be avoided. Others admit that the transitional phase is risky but believe it's still necessary to break down the capitalist system. Modern critics of socialism often fear that any system claiming to representing the workers might end up centralizing power and silencing opposition. They worry that the promise of worker control can be lost in practice. Supporters of socialism counter that the key is to create real participation and accountability. They believe that with proper checks, the transition can be democratic and avoid turning into tyranny. So the question remains, does the temporary rule of the workers lead to dictatorship? It all depends on how power is managed during that period. If it's handled carefully, it could lead to a more equal society. But if power is concentrated or misused, it risks becoming a form of tyranny. The debate continues, and the outcome hinges on the choices made during that critical transitional phase.